Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining and being a little patient. I want to give everyone some time to make their way in, get comfortable. I'm hoping to make this as informative as possible. And we're still waiting on our alumni, Mikki, to join us. We're hoping they'll join soon and we'll have some good answers. But for now, the plan is we're going to talk a little bit about Hult because we know some of our students are already confirmed students. They already showed their commitment to Hult and are ready to start their studies. We have some students, working on their application, hopefully working towards that good news, and some that are brand new to Hult. So I want to go over some details for those that are here to learn about Hult as a whole. I know some of you I have spoken to before. My name is Sarah. My colleague Adrian, who also works with students from the Philippines, is also here. So hopefully you see a familiar face in whatever capacity it is. So I want to talk about Hult and everyone's question, why Hult? So we have fun music again. When Hult was trying to decide its image and what it wanted to be, instead of telling students, here's what you're supposed to know, here's what every textbook tells you need to know, they went to the source. You're coming to school to have these great job opportunities with these CEOs. So who better to give us advice than the CEOs themselves? So the CEOs said, they know what they're supposed to know, but it's a lot of these practical skills they're missing. So Holt took that into consideration, took note of those skills and that gap. Because the gap is essentially what I'm sure a lot of us have experienced, I know what I'm supposed to do when it comes to doing it. I'm kind of like a deer in headlights. I don't know where to start. So Holt wants to eliminate that as much as possible. So that's where the practicum comes in. So we're very practicum based. Mikki will definitely go over that. Very hands-on, lots of beautiful material I've seen so far. Presentation is impeccable and puts mine to shame, to be very honest. But that's where Holt started. We want to give you the skills that as soon as you get to the workplace, you have that confidence. Oh, I've done it before. Let's get to it. So that is why Holt. We are not thesis-based. We're not exam or midterm-based, project-based that gives you that confidence of I've done it before. I can do it for you. I can do it here, and I'm not going to worry. Will I still have chances to learn at that company? Yes, but I'm confident in what I'm doing, which makes the employer feel, okay, it's a better ROI. I'm ready to hire you. You're ready to start. You're going to hit the ground running and start doing what I need you to do without any stalling time. So the programs we have to do this exactly, we have 3 different MBA options, and then I'll go over our specialized masters next. So our full-time programs are all 1 year. We have our standard global 1-year MBA available at all campuses. We have our part-time, our MBA with analytics, which is the best, I feel, for most students, especially that have the interest in analytics or any STEM degree. It gives you up to 3 years work authorization after studies in the US. So it is an amazing one. And our really new exciting program is our MBA, our finance MBA. So it's a large focus on finance with a lot of the MBA skills. And the best part is your business challenges and electives. A lot of them will be at our New York and our London campus. So it's a very rare treat to be able to study in New York. And if you do our finance MBA, you'll be there. As for our specialized masters, we have a bunch. I hope my screen is not blocking any details for you. We have a lot. We have our MIB options, our analytic options, marketing, finance, entrepreneurship and innovation, and marketing with analytics. I believe Mikki will be talking about our marketing program in detail. We have the analytics marketing one because we saw a lot of students that want the creative aspect of marketing, but also know that analytics is kind of where it's at in the employment world. So it kind of combines both to make your degree more valuable after you graduate. So I encourage anyone to take a screenshot because it's a lot of details. I'm not going to bore you with them if it's not quite what you're looking for. But please take note that not all programs are available at all campuses, and different programs qualify you for different work authorizations. So If after this you're interested, you want to know more, Adrian and I will reach out. If we haven't already, we probably have. If you have WhatsApp, Viber, email, our names are probably in there somewhere, or they will be within the next week. So you'll have your chance to answer all questions. And for now, the lovely lady we've all been waiting for, I'm gonna stop sharing and have Mikki introduce herself. Hi, Mikki.
Hi everyone, how are you? Can you hear me? Hi.
We can hear you. Yes, they're not speaking,
Good.
but I will hear you. I will listen. And as soon as you're ready, let me know and we'll start your presentation. But please introduce yourself first.
Yes, hi. Hi everyone, mabuhay to our Filipinos there. And I'm Mickey. So I'm doing a master's degree in business ad here in Hult, London. And I think I've been here for almost 3 months, and I'm currently doing my finals this week. So we're ending classes around next week. And I'm very excited to share to you my journey so far. And yeah, so basically just excited to share to you my journey also.
If you don't mind, just because I did mention that we're not very exam based. So what do you mean when you say finals?
Yes, so our finals, well, most of the classes here, it's around 50% individual assignment. So it's either written or you write a paper, an analysis, and then 50% is basically teamwork assignment, which means simulations, case studies. So it's like you're working with a diverse set of people, classmates, in different backgrounds, different skill sets, and that gives you a very good holistic overview of business.
Okay, and those written assignments, how long would you say they are? Our students are a bit scared of the thesis
Oh,
aspect of a master's. So what do
oh,
those look like?
there's no thesis. The assignments are like you write, for example, a 2,000 word essay about, how to address a company's marketing decline, for example. And then how do you address sustainability, balance it with economic profitability, something like that. So it's really about research, intensive research, secondary sources. And I'm definitely sure like if you are into analyzing stuff, you can basically do it.
Nice. Okay. Are you ready to start your amazing presentation that I need notes on how you did because they're so detailed. I hope everyone appreciates it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's nice you can do nice presentations here in campus because there's a lot of presentation. So I mean, it's a nice skill to practice before going to masters.
I'm sure after a while, everyone who's there, you're learning those tricks and everyone's kind of competing on who has the most aesthetically pleasing presentation.
Okay,
All
let
right,
me share my screen and then let's see
go for it.
how I can do this. So
If you need help, let me know. Perfect.
if you can see my
Yeah,
screen and myself, let me know.
I see you. I see the screen. We're good.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'll present to you my journey in health so far, which means like I traveled um 24 hours from the Philippines to London. It's actually the least the airline the trip I took was the least in terms of the stopover. So I only had like 2 hours stopover in Dubai, but usually some flights they would take like 8 to 10. So it would take probably more if you get that kind of flight. But yes, I'm gonna be sharing to you my journey. I think it has been the best 3 months of my life, and I'll share to you everything I can. And if you have questions later, let me know. So hi everyone. So I'm Mickey, and basically, let's start with the right side. So the right side is the professional side, right? So I'm a global digital and tech marketer, which means I've been handling brands in both beauty and software. So I have like 15 years of work experience and a lot of digital campaigns I've launched for Nivea, Baidu, and even Ray-Ban, for example, other lifestyle brands. And on the left side, you can see my personal life. So I'm also a content creator. So when I resigned in corporate, I started to, have a sideline on beauty blogging because I am really passionate into the cosmetics industry. And since I worked in Nivea and L'Oreal before, it's very in line with what I do. And I work with several brands for, affiliate marketing, content creation, and in general, basically, my goal as a student and as a professional and as a person is to eradicate poverty and gender equality. So you can see here in the left side, I have my primary sustainable development goals. And in Hult, it's important that you are clear on what you're focusing on in terms of the SDGs, because this is where a lot of the assignments would revolve into. So there, and I graduated in 2010 with a bachelor's degree in business management of applied chemistry with minor in marketing philosophy. So basically, this course is about entrepreneurship, startups, bringing products from the lab, creating products from the laboratory to the market. And it was a long time, and it's probably like 13 years since I stepped foot again in a school setting, and it's very exciting because I only took an online course in 2021 because it was the pandemic and we were into like remote learning, but I realized after this course that I want to learn more. I want to, be on campus and engage with other people and learn more about them. And so what drove me to Halt is basically the idea of globalization. I mean, with the work that I do, it's not just in the Philippines. I'm doing work in different parts of the globe, in Latin America, Europe, and the idea also of artificial intelligence and diversity and sustainability. These are very important nowadays in the corporate world. Wherein I think in the Philippines it's still starting to take place in the academic world, but here it's very ingrained in the subjects, which means you have to apply all these. And of course, startups. London is, I chose London because London, aside from San Francisco, which I'm planning to, rotate to, startups, London is very good when it comes to developing new businesses and innovations. So, what is the preparation towards this? And so I think I started applying during the pandemic, which was 2020. And then I got accepted in 2021. But I waited until this year because I wanted it to be in campus, fully in campus. And I wanted to prepare. But if you prepare early and if you prepare smart, it would take you just a short period of time. So you just have to, first select your field. And since you're doing a master's, you have to think of rankings as well because you're choosing schools. And later on, I'll show to you the stats that Hult shared to me recently. And of course, the tuition fees. And in terms of the other non-academic parts, I think you have to book in advance your tickets, think about the living expenses, travel plans, and also your documents. Important that you have your official transcript, for example, from your bachelor or your undergrad school. And I think that's it. And when you're ready, just take the step and get support from Hult. So Hult, I have a very wonderful experience with Ivan, who's my enrollment director. So, we've been in talks since like, so I started school here in September, but I've been talking to Ivan since like Feb or March. So it's like a very long period of preparation, which Ivan helped me a lot to get like scholarships. They have a lot of scholarships and financial aids, and to talk about insurance and the visa process, the limitations, and where you can how you can pass all these. And it was very easy for me that I actually applied to two. So I got accepted in San Francisco, the US visa, and then the UK visa, but I eventually um, just decided to stay in the UK. And so Hult has these rankings, right? So the QS World University rankings, top in the online MBA ranking, and then in the executive MBAs, it's number 53 in 2022 to 23. And according to Financial Times, the Masters in Management ranking we're at number 41, which is very nice. And I think this is one of the reasons why I chose Hult, because the rankings are very good. And also I've heard a lot about its approach to learning, which is now I really appreciate, because it's not just, textbook exams. It's really application, and not just application, but the relevant applications to today's society or to today's business world. And well, here are two videos I made. So upon September 1 was the start of the class, and we already had orientation programs. The whole week was about careers, orientations, networking. We had an event already, we had a party, and it was very fun to get to know like my classmates. I have like probably 80 with 20 different nationalities. And of course, it will take time to know about their culture and also to be um, in line with the culture of London and the UK. But the school and the school or the campus and your classmates will be there to support you and to be more inclusive and be more grounded and oriented. So
Maybe you don't mind me asking, since you did bring it up and all the students do have this question, you mentioned the career support in the first week. Can you go into more detail of how they reached out to you, what you were working on, and maybe how that's looked in those entire 3 months you've been there so far?
Yes. So actually in the first week, we already have an orientation on how we can elevate our career. So there's a timeline.
Okay.
So they already told us that, by the first 3 months until now, we should be ready with the CV, with the resume. So how the school, our career advisors are already prepping our resumes, reviewing our keywords on our resumes, LinkedIn learning. So everything about that. And then we have a lot of, during the course of the first semester, we had a lot of career job fairs, um, um, companies introducing themselves to us. So that's very good because it's very early, because by next year or by the next term should be the more stringent application process for graduate programs or for internship programs.
Thank you for sharing.
So now I just have I had a few interviews already, and I got accepted in quite I mean 3, but I'm still looking at other options. So but that's very good because I already prepared my resume even before I started here. So and then I had it tailor fit. I had it reviewed by my career advisor, and then I think it appealed.
So you already have job offers, even though you're only 3 months in. Is that what I'm understanding?
For internship offers, not job.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
not,
Okay.
yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Students are asking,
But
so
yeah,
thank you so much for sharing.
applying for the job offers already for after I graduate. And so during the program, they told us to not fear of embracing mistakes. I saw that clearly in the orientation. And for me, it's really just embracing the journey towards excellence. Because it's personally, it was quite scary for me to move in a new environment, to study and to find work, because you're gonna be probably living alone, but you have full support and you have a lot of tools and resources to make this happen, to make your studies and your life also like balanced. And I'll discuss that in a minute. So for example, in the academics, these are two projects that I currently made. these projects are very I got good grades for this. So the first one is, we made a sustainability campaign to address a brand's decline. So this is for Revlon. And then the second one I just finished probably a few weeks ago. Basically, I made an app for pets wherein we can probably talk and interact with them. So this is a business simulation pitch. So we presented to like the whole class and to our teacher who's a VC. So he's really into startups and ideas. So you have the corporate. If you want to work corporate, eventually you also have the entrep startup side. So it's a balance of everything. And next term we're gonna have to specialize through electives. So that's where you can specialize more.
Okay, do you have an
So
idea of your, sorry to interrupt. Great
yeah,
points you're bringing up, that's why.
well, I want to specialize in business analytics because I'm doing digital marketing, and there's a lot of statistics that the growth of digital marketing is towards data analytics, because you have to be performance driven. So you have to monitor the performance of each customer journey step. So on e-commerce, for example, if you're doing e-commerce, there's a lot of data analytics there. So I want to learn a lot of tools and techniques. Last week we learned like descriptive analytics, wherein we used softwares like Tableau, RapidMiner. So these are tools that they will teach you in school.
Thank you.
Because of music, but basically just know that during the course of your, well, just 3 months, but it feels like I gained a lot of friends. And I think that your classmates are your best network. So your classmates could help you, like eventually um find the job too and connect with them with other people. So it's a great networking activity. Just attend all the events that Hult has. So I think here in London we have like almost 3 times a week we have like events. Wherein we have Thanksgiving, we have the Hanukkah event, and then Christmas. So it's well balanced. So you're not burnt out when it comes to the assignments. You have these activities to help you with your study life balance.
Perfect.
Yes, and I think that ends my presentation, and we're gonna end up with the Q&A. So I think it's important that you plan ahead and you take the step already, because MPA, I think it's a very nice journey to have, especially when you're doing business.
Perfect.
Especially in how so far 3 months really good. Like I'm learning a lot, I'm enjoying a lot, and I love it.
Sorry for interrupting. I wanted to ask, a lot of students, they're kind of scared about like the beginning going into it. So what were you maybe scared about before starting this application, this whole journey? And maybe how do you feel about that aspect now that you've been in Holt for a while?
Well, I was afraid first of living alone, because I've been living, I mean, when you're gonna be in another, and you're in another country, so you have to have time to adjust. So I suggest that you arrive here at least 3 weeks or a month before. I arrived here actually just 4 days before. So it was kind of, yeah, it was kind of, because I had to prepare a lot of stuff. So but yeah, I think just plan ahead so you don't have that fear that will come when it comes to preparing, because you have to learn the tube, you have to learn how to commute. But that's just that's something you can learn when you have the time.
All right, okay. And why did you choose Holt? I think you're applying to other schools, so what was the deciding factor, several deciding factors that made you feel Holt was the right choice, at least for you?
Sure. So I got accepted also in a top university, top B school in Australia, but I chose Hult because, well, first the rotation. So I really want the global experience. So if I'm in Australia, I'm just, stuck there. It's just there. So um I chose this because it has a very good rotation program. A lot of electives and specializations are very trendy, up to date. These are electives that companies look forward um to seeing in your CV or in your experience, like business analytics, AI, for example. And also I think the campuses, because I've researched a lot. So as mentioned, I've been accepted, I think, in 2021. And then, all these time I've been just researching, and I loved it. I loved all the reviews. I loved the campuses are so nice. The environment is so nice. And yeah.
Perfect. Now, if we're comparing, contrasting, studying at Holt versus studying back in the Philippines, what comparisons can we make? What were pleasant surprises, and what can you help our students be prepared for or look forward to?
Of course. So I didn't really consider applying for a master's in the Philippines because I really want the global experience. So that's one reason. But if I would compare it to my graduate degree back then, but I think it's quite a long time ago, but I think it's really how focuses on the students, on the career, the well-being. It's like an overall holistic personal development, because personal development is very important. When you're gonna become a leader in your organization or like a manager. Like here we have courses on high performance, self-awareness, which I think all these schools also are putting importance to, because team performance nowadays in a diverse setting or in a globalized company, for example, is very important. And so I think that's the major difference I can see.
Okay, and what about the teamwork? You've had a lot of experiences. What is that, looked like? What are some pros? What are some learning challenges that you got out of those experiences? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so my team, we're a group of 8. So I think the class is divided into like 12 teams. We're a big group. I work with like South Korean, British, Jamaican. So it's really how you understand the challenge, and also how you communicate with them properly, and be inclusive and be collaborative. So before you go to these team assignments, which is majority of, well, not majority, like probably 50% of the work, the Halt will orient you and teach you how you can deal with teams. There are gonna be a lot of seminars about, um and software and programs were in like Mindflick, a lot of those to teach you how to perform with teams. They're gonna analyze your, if you're gonna be introverted, extroverted, if you're not into presenting or being too confident, then they'll teach you in a way the skills to make it a balanced team.
Perfect, thank you. There's questions coming in. I want to give them time to have a nice bunch for you. You can keep sharing if you want, but we can stare at your nice face at the same time. So you did mention accommodation. How did you go about finding that? That's a very scary thing to start with. We don't really know where to start. So what advice or tips can you give to students looking to maybe come to London or other campuses? How did you figure that out?
Okay, so when you sign up, when you get accepted, you're gonna be oriented by Halt. Be prepared with regards to accommodation, living expenses, like even the applications you have to download for transportation, for health, for security. So you're gonna have a lot of time. So when I saw that there is this app called Spare Rooms in the UK, so Hult mentioned that in the briefing, I already started finding an apartment like a month, probably 2 months before I arrived here. So you're gonna have a lot of time because Hult will prepare you for that. So what's good is I luckily found an apartment that is shared with a marketing professional in HubSpot. So my classmate, my Filipina classmate Sam, who's here, she went here earlier than me. So I told her to check the room, to check the unit for me because I'm still not there. I'm late. So I found it nice and so I got it. So basically just prepare ahead because well it's gonna it's not that difficult, but you have to consider the location because London is very big, and you have to think about transportation. You don't want to be absent sometimes, so you have a lot of factors to consider. But since Hult is there, and you have the support, you have these applications, you can do it online.
All right. I would definitely endorse what you said of having someone go check it out in person. So I think anyone
Yeah,
looking at apartments, they go and like, these are not the pictures, that's not the furniture. So to have
true.
someone, I mean, they may be reaching out to you, Mikki, after this chat.
Yes.
Bianca did have a good question. What would you say would be the average living expenses per month?
Yes. Okay. So in London, it's quite similar to San Francisco, I think. Um, Living expense means like aside from rent, right?
Rent, bills, transportation, food, like what it costs you to live in London besides tuition.
Okay, so the rent is at around, 1,000 to 1 to GBP.
Okay.
So, 80,000 to 100,000. But the food and the transportation here is inexpensive. It's very accessible. So I think it's just the rent that you have to consider first because it's the problem area, I think. I mean, not the problem area, but like it's the most expensive. So that you have to check early and prepare early. So that's the number one thing I did. So, but other than that, transportation here, it's very easy. You can walk, you can ride a bike, you can, uh, take the tube or the train. It's easy. So yeah. So yeah, it's just the rent that's taking the bulk of probably like 80% of my monthly expense.
Okay, and that 1,000 to 1,200, that's for the whole apartment to yourself? Are you sharing with roommates or what's the situation?
Oh yeah, I'm sharing with my roommates, but you can get 1,000 to 1,200 with like a small, like a studio or yeah, I'm sharing basically because here if you like own your an apartment, it would be around 1,800 to 2,000.
Okay, so 1,000 about for the whole apartment or just for your room in the apartment?
Just for my room and
Okay.
my own bath.
That makes it a bit worth.
It's big. Yeah, it's big. And I live in Elephant and Castle, which is south of London, so it's just 5 stops away from Holborn.
Okay. And I'm sure some students are going to ask, London is known to be a little chilly, a little wet. How
Yeah.
was it dealing with the weather in London?
Um, well, you can prepare, I think, when you are already here because you don't want to carry a lot of winter stuff when you're from the Philippines because it's very hot in the Philippines. You don't have winter clothes in the Philippines. So, probably just take September will be quite sunny and when you enter in the fall. But December now, it's very cold. So you have to prepare gloves, layering, heat tech. So yeah, that's one thing to consider as well.
But it's bearable. You're
It's
you're alive.
terrible. Yeah, it's
You're still
terrible.
enjoying life.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. Bianca had a question about working while being in the UK, since legally you are allowed to work up to 20 hours a week while you're studying. So her question was, I want to do it to help with my expenses for living in the UK. Would you happen to know if this is a possibility as an international student? It is. And are there ways that the school can help endorse for the necessary documents? Did you need any documents from the school to allow you to work?
Oh, no, no, no. For, here or
Yes.
in,
In London.
yes, they can in Hull, London, they can provide you with a proof of study
Okay.
and right to work. I mean, basically, when you get here, you're gonna get a card which is called the GBP, wherein it says there your visa status and then how many hours per week you can work here.
Okay. So you
So
could almost do it with just the card, but the documents might be an extra thing that is available to students.
you can request it through the Hult website, your own Hult
Portal.
website portal, yeah, and they're gonna provide you with that.
Perfect. Okay. Patricia has a good question that I know all my students from the Philippines have the same concern. I've heard, especially in the Philippines, it's a common thing or expectation that before doing a master's, you need a work experience. So Patricia's
Mm.
question is based on the curriculum and requirements for Hult. Would you recommend gaining work experience before taking a master's degree, especially for those whose undergraduate degrees are not business related?
Nice question. Well, I think if you're gonna have the interviews, they would Hult would require you to have around two. I am not sure, but around 2 to 3 working experience, and three. That's right,
For the
3.
MBA, 3 years post-bachelor's. For a master, there's no necessary requirement.
Yeah, but I didn't think of that because I'm old. I worked for 13 years, so okay, I'll just submit. But yeah, I think 3. And then I would recommend that you would also prepare if you graduated with a degree and, for example, engineering. I would recommend that you would, like, just little bit study about accounting, economics, because those are gonna be your first subjects when you arrive. So for me, like in Ateneo, we were taught accounting for like 3 years, 12 units. So it's a lot, but I forgot it already. So when I arrived here, the first course is accounting, marketing, so the basics, the core. So it's just nice that you just review a little bit, and how will teach you the basics. So it's not gonna be a problem, but just prepare ahead as well.
I would definitely agree. To be very transparent as you've been, Mickey, I'm doing the MBA as a student myself, and I do
Oh.
not have a business background. And I'm sure Mickey's doing better than me in your studies. I heard you got A's everywhere, but I am not far behind in doing well. So it's definitely good to have that foundation, know a little bit about marketing, a little bit business, leadership skills, etc. But as you mentioned, Holt really does teach it from the ground up that, if you
Right,
have that experience, you are learning and fine tuning a lot of your skills. But if you don't have it, it's very doable to catch up. Um,
exactly. And
so
what we do here, like for example, during the accounting exam, there are a lot of our classmates that are not graduates of like business. So a lot of us taught them, yeah, your friends, your classmates, they're your tutors as well. They can help you because it's a diverse background. So they would teach you about this, and then probably you can learn something else from them. Yeah.
that's one of the things we really look forward to is, it might be intimidating to ask someone for help who seems to have a good grasp on it, but they could be asking you the same thing from your marketing experience or all that stuff. So it's really that, and that's a good way to network, is I'm being vulnerable, asking you for help. We have
That's
formed that bond, that trust. I helped you out, and then
yeah.
we see where things go from there. Kevin had a question. He says, as a foreign student in London, how do you avoid being misinterpreted or address misunderstanding?
Okay. So, hmm. in school, there are a lot of rules in our student handbook wherein um, there has to be a level of inclusivity, belonging, understanding. We have to respect each other. It's like in the core of Hult. So in the school, it's you're fine. But when you're outside, of course, you can be misunderstood. Like for example, if you're Filipino and you don't speak, the language, you might get some kind of like look, but it's fine. Like people in London are not all that. They're very friendly and just pick a neighborhood. For example, in Elephant and Castle where I live, it's I think 80% Chinese, Asian, Japanese. So like I can the culture is quite similar. So I think that's also one way you can do that. Research about the place that you're gonna be living in, like who are your neighbors, probably like what are their ethnicity, something like that.
Thank you. Marie has a good question about living in London alone. How do you manage your schedule in school and having a life, study, work balance?
Yes. So Marie, um, nice question. Very good question because a lot of even in the study part alone, you have to have a lot of time management and project management because you cannot do the assignments alone. That's why 50% is team assignment. So it's about not just delegating the task, it's knowing your team's strength, what's your strength as well and what's your weakness, and asking for advice, for help, for criticism, so you can be more productive as a team. And then when you're done with that, you're done with study, then you can balance work and also enjoy London. So for me, it's really managing the time effectively. So for example, during the week, I do most of my study, like my individual work, on the first 3 days, and then I meet my team on Thursdays and Fridays, and then I work, read, enjoy London in the weekend. So it's possible. It's not, very hard to balance as long as you're really focused and committed to the goal.
Perfect, I'd agree. Passing the broom or wiping a counter down is a good break from studying. It's a go-to of mine.
Just know your strength. So for example, if you know that you're good in finance or in accounting, then during that week when you have an accounting exam, maybe you can do other stuff, right?
Perfect. Someone anonymous asked, do you have classmates that work part-time while enrolled at Hult?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, part-time enrolled?
That work part-time while fully enrolled. I'm going to assume that word for our anonymous question asker.
Like part-time work or
Yeah.
part-time?
Like
Part-time.
part-time working, like is that a really common thing, or do people feel maybe it's too much, or like how common is that?
Oh, it's possible. Like 20% of our class, I think, or 15, they still work. They are
Okay.
working while studying. So it's possible. It's just really, managing the time. And I think that's it. That's what I mentioned. There's team assignments, which is 50%. So as long as you're doing well with that, I think you're gonna pass.
Perfect. Okay. There is a question I'm going to answer a little bit. So we had a question about scholarships for the whole. Most details of it is something discussed with your enrollment advisor. So Adrian or myself, who will reach out to you if we haven't done so already. But what overall general details can you maybe help our question asker understand, Mikki?
Yes. So scholarships, there are a lot of financial aids and scholarships that HUG offers. I'm not sure for a lot, but like entrepreneurial impact, and then like women in business, something like that. So I was given like the entrepreneurial impact. So you can apply. So you just write essay, and then I think there's a submission. I'm just not sure, but I think it's near. I think, yeah, very
Yes.
near. So it's just an essay, and then if you ace that essay, then Hult's gonna give you all the help you need.
Right. I will definitely add on. So yes, there is merit-based and need-based. Merit-based is usually that short essay. Their topics are honestly on our website if you want to check it out. And good job, Mikki, for remembering those titles. And then the rest would be need-based. So that's a phone call you have with your enrollment advisor. You fill in a declaration of finance. And if there's a gap versus what you have versus what you need, and we can help out with it. We do our best to do that. But for any details or numbers, have that chat with us and we'll let you know the full picture there.
Yes, and Hult is also gonna help you like in student loans. I don't have an experience fully, but I kind of understood it. So they're gonna help you with those financial stuff.
Yeah. So the loans are not exactly from Hult, but we have two really good loan companies that we work with. For London, it's Prodigy. For the US, it's Empower as well. Empower, I have a preference for
Yeah.
Empower. I don't know. I find them very friendly. Canadian to me is tied to that. But so it's not with Hult directly, but it is a good partnership. And as a brief thing, the loans are based essentially on your earning potential after your studies. So it's great for international students. There's no collateral or anything like that. They see your earning potential and say, okay, well, you're likely to make this, so we don't mind lending you this much because you're likely going to make that and you should pay it back soon. And I had another student of mine actually survey a bunch of our alumni and asked, how long did it take you to pay back those loans? And the answer was between 3 to 5 years. So from the source, from a fellow Filipina, that is the answer. It's doable. And some of them even came back to the Philippines to work and we're still able to pay it off. So there. Okay. Another question from an anonymous person. Do most of your classmates have work experience? Do you have some with little to no work experience? Do they have a hard time during simulations application?
Okay, good question. So I think, yeah, a lot of the classmates I have work experience, but it's not sometimes it's not in the business setting. So for example, I have classmates who are pharmacists, I have classmates who are engineers, and business is a diverse, not diverse, like a general subject. So I think that even if you have no or little work experience, as long as you know the basics of accounting, marketing, economics, then you'll do good in the simulations and applications. Just logic. You don't have to do a lot of math here. Well, they're gonna show you a lot of graphs and functions, but it's applied, which means, for example, if you're doing supply demand, or for example marginal cost, marginal benefit, it's not really the equations that you need, it's the application of this in for example in marketing, like in bundling. So it's like that.
Thank you. We had another question about living expenses because you did mention two areas that you definitely would recommend, Elephant and Castle, I believe it was. And the question is, what are some recommended areas to live in besides those while at Hult? Maybe based on proximity to campus, safety and security, etc.
Yeah. Well, one, it's nice to live in Holborn, which is in central London, which is near the school, because Holborn is very nice. It's just quite expensive in central London. So if you can find areas like in greater London surrounding it, so you just cross the bridges, so you enter the center, then I think it's gonna save you some money. And I think it's safe generally. I mean, it's safe everywhere in London. Yeah. So I don't think that's not gonna be a problem. It's just really like choosing the right place that suits you and your lifestyle. So for example, if I brought my dog here, so basically the Elephant and Castle was a good place because there's a lot of parks. So I don't know, they love animals. Maybe that's why it's Elephant and Castle.
Maybe. We have no more pending questions. We still have time. But I think one good question would be, when you were starting your journey, what would you have liked to have known, excuse me, at that point that you could maybe give that knowledge to everyone who's attending?
Oh, um, I th- I think just really try to prepare early, because I mean, not not a year or 2 years time, but just really focus on the preparation. Because when I started preparing, I was still working, so I was not focused on the prep. So for example, the finding of apartment, I just do it over the weekend. But if you can be more aggressive on that, and plan that really well, then you're off to go. Because the studies is fine, you're gonna be covered. It's not that intense in a sense, because you have a lot of tools and resources. And I think, well, just be also mentally prepared, because you're gonna be away from your family. So that might be a factor. But there's digital, there's a lot of classmates you can interact to. So it's not gonna be a problem at all.
Perfect. Okay. One other, Bianca's asking about your basically admissions process. So about exams or interview, can you run us through what that experience was like for you?
Okay, so I started with I think, of course, the application process is online, and then I got interviewed, I think twice, and then I think I got the confirmation 2 weeks after.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just an easy application process. Just make sure your CV stands out and your answers to the questions really, you know, match the values of Hult and what you can contribute to the campus or to the school.
Thank you. I will add, so our application process is a bit different. Basically start your application, general application with the application fee. Then we work with you to collect documents. So I know a lot of universities, it's kind of everything all at once, and then you kind of close your eyes and wait for results. But we would help you with the documents. We'd help them help you check them over, give you tips if we need to improve that, if it doesn't meet the requirement, to help us to have a smoother admissions process. And then yes, there's the interview. It's an online interview just to kind of see it, you're going to be a good fit. If we're in marketing and you have many kinds of Mickeys in the cohort and you're not as optimistic about your studies, then we might do some more digging. And then yes, like as you said, usually a week or two for the results, and then a week or two to confirm your seat if we get the good news. The application fee is $95 US. And someone is asking, do we have any tips for the interviews, Mikki?
Oh, for the interviews, just be natural. Just, tell a story about how you're, gonna be disrupting the business world, because all this all about disruptive techniques. So how you're gonna be different and how you can be in action to whatever your goal is. So yeah, just be specific, smart, and goal oriented when it comes to citing examples of your work, for example.
I
Yeah.
would definitely agree. It's very much story sharing.
Oh.
So no diplomatic answers. We want to make sure you as an individual are going to fit in well. And we have one last question, which I think is a really good one. Mikki, you mentioned you were accepted to US and London. So what was or were the deciding factors that made you choose London?
Okay. So when it comes to the I think it's just a matter of the electives and the background or the environment. So in the US, it's very good for analytics. All the electives in analytics are mostly in San Francisco. So it's, Silicon Valley, very technological. But in London, which is also like that in a way, but London is very good in finance, in finance. So finance is my weak weak point. When I was in Ateneo, it was my lowest grade, and now I'm doing well in finance. I understand it, and I love it. Like, I know now how to read financial documents and really analyze it. So London is very good in finance. I think they're one of the top countries wherein they teach that. So I chose it because I want the balance. I want to balance it with my weakness.
I like that you chose it not based on comfort, but where you'd be almost the most uncomfortable and have the best learning opportunities. I love that.
First, because if you're gonna invest in them, you're gonna be investing time, not just money, but time and effort to be here. Then might as well choose a campus or a country that will give you, the optimum result for you.
Well, I want to say thank you so much, Mikki. We have lots of information. We have a deadline coming up, so hopefully everyone that attended is ready to have those conversations with Mr. Adrian or myself. He did put the email to reach out to us. If you haven't heard from us yet, you can message us with that email, or check your inbox or WhatsApp or Viber. We're somewhere somehow. Our deadline is the 20th of December to start your application. So as I said, no documents yet. Just become that official applicant, basic information, application fee to get the process started so that you guys have some good news to share, new ventures to start for the new year. We are here for questions, and I want to say thank you so much, Mikki. I know it's the end of the year. You're trying to wrap things up, and you spent a lovely hour with us. So thank you so much for your time.
Of course, thank you so much as well. And good luck to everyone. And remember to sign up.
Thank you, Mikki. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Good night, everyone.